All right, today let's talk about something bigger than just community management. We're talking about community architecture, because scaling up isn't just about cramming more people in, it's about designing a city that can actually grow from a quiet little neighborhood into a buzzing metropolis, without collapsing into total chaos. So let's drop the blueprints. Think about it. Your community's at 2,000 members. It's kind of cozy, right? You know the regulars, you can actually keep up with the conversations. Now imagine that just explodes, 15 times bigger. That jump to 30,000, that isn't just a change in size. It's a seismic shift that completely transforms the DNA of your community. So, this brings us to the million-dollar question. How do you get bigger without losing the soul of the place? How do you stop that vibrant neighborhood from turning into just pure, unfiltered noise? Well, the answer isn't to manage harder. It's to think differently. And this is the fundamental shift you have to make in your head. A small community, it's a neighborhood. As the leader, you're the one starting the conversations, creating the value directly. But a metropolis? That's a whole different beast. It's a complex, living thing. And your role, it shifts from being the main attraction to being the city planner, the architect who just facilitates the millions of interactions that create the city's value. Okay, so before we even lay a single brick, we gotta get our heads right. We need to adopt the architect's mindset. This is the philosophical foundation that makes everything else actually work. Your job completely changes. You just can't be the source of all the value anymore. You can't be the one answering every single question or starting every chat. At scale, you become a facilitator. Your job is to build the systems, the stages, and the spotlights that let your members become the stars of the show. And to be a good architect, you gotta know who you're building for. This is where the 90-9-9 rule comes in. See, in any big community, 90% of people are basically consumers or lurkers. 9% are contributors who post occasionally, but the real engine, the cultural heartbeat, that comes from the 1%, the creators who generate almost all of the value. Now, once you really get that, your entire strategy changes. You have to stop trying to engage everybody. Your new mission, your obsession, should be identifying and empowering that top 1%. As the architect, you give them the best tools, the best platform, and all the recognition. And believe me, they will build the culture of your city for you. All right, mindset, check. Now it's time to actually build something. So how do we create that powerful growth engine that's going to populate our metropolis? Let's get into the mechanics. So instead of just, begging people for referrals, you architect a career path for your most passionate fans. You start with advocates who earn small rewards. The best of them become champions, getting exclusive access. And the absolute top tier, they can become partners, literally sharing in the success they help create. It turns referrals into this powerful, super incentivized system. And beyond just referrals, your content is what pulls people into your city. Think of your evergreen guides as the major landmarks that attract visitors. Use social proof by showing new people that, hey, their friends are already here, because trust is everything. And this one is crucial. Codify your values. It's like writing your city's constitution. It's what keeps the culture intact as the population booms. Okay, so the growth engine is firing on all cylinders. People are pouring in. But here's the danger, right? With all those people comes the single biggest threat to a scaled community: noise. Now we have to design the infrastructure to stop our city from drowning in. I mean, let's be real. Shoving 30,000 people into one general channel isn't a community. It's a fire hose of noise. It's totally overwhelming for new members, and it makes any kind of meaningful conversation impossible. This is the problem we have to solve with architecture. And the solution is this really cool idea called fractal organization. It's a fancy name for a simple idea. You break the massive metropolis down into smaller, self-contained neighborhoods. These are just micro-communities built around specific topics, projects, or even where people live. It gives people a smaller, more relevant space to actually connect. And you make this happen with some really smart tools. During onboarding, you're like a personal tour guide, automatically suggesting relevant neighborhoods. You can implement a trending feed that acts like a town square, bubbling up the most important conversations. And you can automate a welcome wagon to check in with new folks after a week, making them feel seen, even in a huge crowd. So, our city is built, it's growing, but how do we know if it's healthy? A great architect needs a blueprint, a data-driven one. This is basically the control room where we track the vital signs of our metropolis. Think of this as your step-by-step guide from 2,000 to 30,000 members. And notice how this strategy changes. Early on, you're just focused on structural hardening, like getting moderators. But by the time you hit that ecosystem play phase, you're integrating external tools and becoming a whole platform. It's a clear, planned-out evolution. And here are the vital signs you absolutely have to be watching. Are new users interacting within the first 48 hours? If they don't, they're probably gone for good. What about your original members, the OGs? Are they still active? If they leave, the soul of your community is at risk. And on a practical level, is your platform even fast enough? Speed isn't a luxury, it's a core feature. Building and running a whole city, it's a lot. It's complex. To manage all that without completely burning out, the architect also needs to be a refinery manager, someone who takes all that chaotic energy and constantly refines the systems that turn it into order and value. First question on the checklist every single week. Look at your to-do list and ask, can this be automated? Welcoming new members, answering FAQs, basic moderation. These things can save you hundreds of hours if you automate them. All right, number 2, if you can't automate it, can you delegate it? This goes right back to empowering your 1%. Can a community leader host that event? Can they manage that subgroup? You have to learn to let go. And last, but definitely not least, you have to constantly check the vibe of the city. Is the signal-to-noise ratio high? Are quality conversations actually happening? If not, that's your signal that you might need to build some new neighborhoods or tweak how you surface the best content. This quote right here, this is it. This is the whole ballgame. This is the true definition of what it means to scale. It's not about the numbers, it's about autonomy. It's that magical moment when you see members creating value for each other without you needing to do anything. That's when you know you've succeeded as an architect. The city is alive. At the end of the day, scaling a community isn't really about managing more people. It's about designing a system where people can flourish together. So I'll leave you with this. The real question you have to ask yourself isn't about your tactics, it's about your identity. Are you a manager, or are you ready to become an architect?